The U.S. Constitution is grounded in ethical frameworks such as deontological ethics, which emphasizes individual rights and duties, reflected in the Bill of Rights that safeguards freedoms like speech and religion, and consequentialism, which evaluates laws based on their outcomes for the greater good. The Declaration of Independence, adopted on July 4, 1776 by the Continental Congress, formally severed the political, economic, and social ties between the 13 American colonies and Great Britain, justifying its separation by listing 27 colonial grievances against King George III and asserting the right to revolution. Just as the United States declared independence from oppression, African Americans have the same right and duty in upholding their integrity, dignity, and human rights. The unanimous declaration proclaims that when it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, they are entitled to a separate and equal station among the powers of the earth, asserting that all men are created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. Prudence dictates that government should not be changed for light and transient causes. However, when a long train of abuses evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right and duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all aimed at establishing tyranny. These ethical principles are practically enshrined in United States law and resonate with international human rights standards. Human rights law similarly prioritizes the inherent dignity and rights of all people, rooted in frameworks like natural rights theory, articulated by philosophers such as John Locke, which posits that certain rights are inherent, such as the right to life and liberty. Specific examples include the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which advocates for the protection of these rights globally. In the context of reparations for African Americans, ethical frameworks like restorative justice and social justice come into play, emphasizing repairing harm and acknowledging historical injustices, while principles from distributing justice call for fair compensation to address systemic inequalities and promote equity in society. Therefore, as a leading country of democracy, it is unethical and unlawful for Americans to refuse to acknowledge that African Americans should receive reparations, as it contradicts both national values and international commitments to justice and equality. This stance not only undermines the ethical foundations of American governance, but also perpetuates a cycle of injustice and inequality that has persisted for generations, minds failing to recognize the moral obligations to provide reparations. The United States neglects its duty to uphold human rights as outlined in its own Constitution and international treaties, further alienating marginalized communities and stalling progress toward